Macro lens for 20 bucks? Is that even possible? Well, it turns out it is. And the result with such a lens looks something like this. How's it going all? TomCRX here, and in this video I will show you not only how to make awesome macro shots, but most importantly what these three ingredients are and how they will enable you to turn these lenses into macro beasts for almost no money. Stick around and let me explain what exactly you need to make them work with your camera, whichever that is. Alright, so this thing is an old manual prime lens from a film camera that was produced about 50 years ago. Manual means it does not have an autofocus, but to be honest, for macro shots, you don't really need an autofocus. On this particular lens, you also need to manually adjust the aperture, and I think it's pretty cool to see how the iris is opening and closing. On the downside, this means that your camera will not read any of the data from the lens, but again, not really a downside. Since these are prime lenses, they're actually quite sharp, given the age and the technologies used back then. Anyways, I bought this Soviet-made camera called Zenit years ago. It came with 3 lenses, and the first one was Mir 1 37mm 2.8. And it's some sort of Brussels Grand Prix edition from 1958. Then I got this Helios 44-2, which is 58mm f2, and this beast big lens Jupiter 11A 135mm f4. For all of these 3 lenses and this super cool retro camera, which actually still works but I use it as decoration, I paid about 50 bucks. So they're really cheap and is the first thing on the list you need to get. I bought this set from an old man on our local online marketplace. It's similar like Craigslist. However, these lenses, especially the Helios 40-42, is widely popular around the world and can be purchased on eBay and other places. But don't get stuck on Helios, because you can use any of these old manual lenses if you just fit them to your camera. So for them to work on your camera, all you need is to buy the correct adapter. To find the right adapter, you need to know 2 things. First, what is your camera's mounting system? Second, what is the mount for the lens? So in my case, the lens mount is so-called M42, and it's the same for all of these 3 lenses. For my Sony, it is the E-mount. So all I have to do is search for M42 to E-mount adapter, and $3 to $5 later, I can fit the lens on my Sony without any problems. I believe these lenses fit on virtually any camera. I use these lenses also on my Canon 60D and Canon 100D. I use them on Sony a7 II, which is a full frame, and also on crop sensor Sonys like a6000 and a6300, and it worked perfectly. You just need to find the right adapter. Okay, so that's the second thing on the list. Check. What about the macro? Right, now you are just one step away for doing macro shots. You need to buy, one more thing, macro extension tube rings. In my case, I got this set of 3 for the M42, which is 42mm screw mount. All 3 of them will cost you about 10 bucks, but you can also buy just one if you want to cut the cost. Alright, so this is what they can do. As you can imagine, each of them give a different level of magnification, if you will. The further the lens is from the camera body, the greater the magnification. Obviously, the longer the focal length, the more magnification as well. Cool thing about this particular set is that for an extreme close-up, you can actually combine all 3 extension tubes like this. Pair it with this 135mm prime beast, and the result is something like this. So to wrap it up, to get macro shots for cheap, you need the following 3 things: old manual lens, the appropriate adapter, and the extension tubes. Okay, so far so good. You are all set to take your macro shots. However, there are a few things I want to point out. First, the light. The bigger the magnification, more tubes you use, the more light you will need. It loses light quite quickly. My suggestion is to shoot in bright sunlight or use an LED light so you don't have to compensate with the ISO. Second, depth of field. The bigger the magnification, the shallower depth of field. When you combine all three of these tubes together, you will literally only have few millimeters in focus. So plan your shots wisely. And third, the focal distance. The bigger the magnification, the closer you will need to get to the subject. And lastly, investing in these prime lenses is actually a good idea, not just because of the macro shots, but also because you can take completely normal pictures with them. For the money you will spend on them, I don't think you will find something better. Tag me on Instagram @Yurieks if you end up using such similar setup, because I would love to see what you are up to. And if you enjoyed this video, make my day by dropping a comment, giving a like, or even subscribing. And I, in the meantime, will be working on yet another video for you to watch. See ya!